That's it, locked in, baby.
All right, Max, we are live.
There you go. I just wasn't sure if we were live. We weren't live, so just wanted to make sure. Wow. Wow.
The best interview, controversial, Mark Hunt was amazing. You think the walk-off knockout is awesome? An 18-minute interview with Max and I was even better than that.
It was probably our best interview we've ever had. It was just, we covered every topic we wanted to get covered. What he said and just how articulate he was and what he was saying and just like the argument, the stance he's standing for is bigger than just MMA.
Yes.
It was incredible. Absolutely incredible. So that will be out on this episode. But
at the end.
in order for you to listen, obviously you've had to either join the live stream or you have to download and subscribe to the Locked In Sports Podcast via Apple Podcast, iHeartRadio, Spotify, any podcast platform. We are on there, locked in with two N's, to hear the interview and hear us debate about Kawhi Leonard.
And definitely, guys, make sure it's rated R. His interview, he gets amped, we get amped. It's rated R, so if you're not 24 years or, 12 years old, whatever, right? It's rated R. Just giving you a heads up. Hey, if you don't know by now, that's Max. I'm Dave. We got the producers behind the scenes.
What up?
That's Sean.
JT Money.
How's it doing?
Oh,
yeah, he did steal it. I'm going to have to get that rigged up so I can do that from now on.
That was awesome.
It was an absolute pleasure. So thank you, Mark Hunt, UFC legend, veteran. But before we get started, we want to thank our sponsors. And I would like to start off with Wicked Cutz.
Okay.
Wicked Cutz gives the best haircuts there is. No matter who you go to, JT and I have this conversation every night. Every time he gets a fade, I'm like, who'd you get your hair cut by? And he tells me a different name, and they all are absolutely amazing. So you can't go wrong. I'm about to get with Jeff, and he's about to cut my hair. And there's also Frank, there's Gio, and Incredibles 2 was really good.
I'm going to talk about that in a second.
But anyway, so Wicked Cutz, they have two locations, Daytona, and they also have one in Port Orange. So you can go to both, mention Locked In. They're amazing people. And download the Booksy app as well, because that will give you the ability to skip the line and jump right into a chair.
$5 off your haircut, Max. That's the best part. Mention Locked In. You get $5 off your haircut. $5.
I was a walking billboard, so Olivia got her glasses, right?
Okay.
And they're like, wow, that's a really nice fade. I'm like, well, thank you. And they were like, where do you get that? Because I want to take my son, and I can never get him to get a nice fade. And I said, well, funny you mention it. I have a sports podcast called Locked In, my cousin and I, and download and subscribe. Obviously, I told her the information to download the podcast.
Did you tell them to get me a $5 Dunkin' Donut gift card?
I did not. Anyway, as I continue, we digress. My point being is she asked, and I said Wicked Cutz, mentioned Locked In, so people definitely check out Wicked Cutz. And buy a T-shirt. Locked In,
yes, the
two
new tee.
ends. It does look fresh. The fabric, the red, Chris Mighty Mixon got one, right?
Not yet. It's a
Not
surprise.
yet? Oh, we're live. Ruin that one.
Oh, my gosh. All right, guys. We'll mention more sponsors later. Let's get into it. I cannot wait. We'll talk for 2 hours about the World Cup coming up, golf, MMA, baseball. But basketball, I think, takes the lead on this episode. Am I correct?
Yes, you are. Can
Okay.
I start off?
Surprise.
Wait, before you start off, I want to talk. I got the cup. No spoilers alert. I'm just going to throw this out there. We can debate it on all social media platforms. Incredibles 2 is a top 3 Pixar movie of all time. The
You
other two
changed
movies, Toy Story and Monsters University.
Thank
is
you.
in the top 3.
Thank you. That was my favorite movie growing up.
Incredibles
And
2, though, was amazing. Better than the first one. I loved it.
Dave, you were
Loved
like,
it.
this is the greatest Pixar movie ever. And when you put it in that category, it just sets it up for failure. So top 3 I could live with.
Thank you.
University?
Yeah. Oh, are you?
Over? I'm not. No, I'm
Whoa,
just
whoa,
saying,
whoa, whoa.
as
I'll
a top
fight
3.
you. I'll punch
not
you in the face.
Not saying it's bad. It's just I never considered that in the top 3.
Oh, Monsters University. I love it. I think because it's like one of Colin's favorite. We watch it 6 times a week.
Interesting.
Well, let's throw me something that's better than Monsters University.
Monsters Incorporated.
No. Monsters University is better. It's like the prequel.
Toy Story.
That's in
I'm
there.
going to say Toy Story is just
Incredibles 2,
the GOAT.
Toy Story 1, Monsters University.
Okay, anyway, speaking about the
Talk about this
GOAT,
for hours.
I've mentioned LeBron James.
Okay.
As I
we
said,
go.
the GOAT, it just reminded me of what we're talking about.
Surprise.
So LeBron James, Dave, he said we have a record of saying his name on every single episode, maybe besides one. This episode will not differentiate between any other episodes. We are saying LeBron James' name again. So LeBron James, I said, is going to be a Laker. I said Paul George will join him, and we even talked about with Aaron Goldstone, and we said Chris Paul is it's pretty likely that he comes as well via trade, and then just that they can sign 2 max players, and we all kind of agreed on that.
We didn't mention one guy.
And that's the breaking news. So Friday afternoon, Kawhi Leonard says he doesn't want to be a San Antonio Spur anymore, and on his list was number 1, the Lakers, and then Dave's honorable mention as number 2 is the Knicks. So our Lakers, his Knicks. Obviously, Dave and I have had a dispute. We've been battling on who gets Kawhi Leonard.
How about
Our Lakers?
He's a Laker fan
I've been
now.
a Laker fan
Wait, but
before
you said
LeBron.
Our Lakers, Dave's Knicks. So who's the our? You
The
and the mouse in your
community.
pocket?
The community.
No one likes the community. No one likes the Lakers in this community other than you.
You mean the locked-in community? Where you can get involved
Exactly.
in on this discussion?
Oh, okay.
Yes.
I like
so
that.
listen, LeBron James goes to L.A. I was really comfortable with saying that. But with Kawhi Leonard now saying that he wants to be a Laker, this is huge. And it makes me feel even more confident that he's going there, because now you have the best two-way player in the league who can guard Kevin Durant, give you 25 a game. He could shoot, he can handle, he could do everything you need.
Yes.
And then you could still get Paul George. So you have the 3 best two-way players in the league on one team.
Wow. You think Paul George is, like better than Jimmy Butler?
Yes.
So the top 3 better than Klay Thompson?
Yes.
Wow.
Well,
Okay.
yeah, because Klay Thompson has a better resume because he's on the Golden State Warriors. But
I
as
think
far as a
Klay
player,
will be better with LeBron than Paul George. But that's here or there.
that's,
Okay.
yeah, that's most.
I'm putting you on the spot. With Kawhi and LeBron maybe teaming up in LA. So if the third of the big 3, would you rather have Paul George or Chris Paul? Because Paul George, like you said, they're all
No
similar.
brainer.
No brainer.
No brainer.
Chris Paul.
Paul George.
Wow.
Here's why: because
Okay.
Chris Paul's the better player.
Yes.
But Paul George matches up better against the Golden State Warriors because they do a lot of screens. And with this, you could switch on anybody. I feel confident with LeBron guarding 1 through 5.
who
I feel
guards Curry?
Paul George can go on him.
You don't think Chris Paul can guard him more?
No, because Paul George is 6'9". He adds an element of he's just lankier, he's stronger. And like I said, pound for pound, Chris Paul's a better player. But for the Warriors, Paul George is better because he's a better three-point shooter,
Okay.
and he's a more versatile defender. And he's younger. Chris Paul is older, and he's been injury-prone. So each of his last 5 seasons, he's played fewer and fewer and fewer games. So you have an older Chris Paul who's injury-prone compared to a 26, 27-year-old who's in his prime who's not as injury-prone besides that one freak injury.
Talking about Paul George?
Yeah.
I think he's way older than that. Just throwing that out there.
Paul George is 27.
You're 100 on it?
100%. I'll bet $5 on the air right now because sports betting's legal. So
Wow. He's the best in the business right there, folks. The best in the business.
How old did you say?
27.
His birthday is May 2nd,
Uh-huh.
1990.
So I was wrong?
28.
28.
We didn't bet.
But-
We didn't shake on it.
It's binded. I think.
Damn.
But if this were a month and a half ago, you would have
Yeah.
been right.
2K. I played
I
2K,
really thought he was
so I
20
saw
or 29,
27.
but it's all good. Okay. I guess we're going back and forth. I'll be the asker. You're the askee. Something like that, I think.
Question and answer?
Yeah.
Wordsmith.
Yep. That's me. If you're the Lakers, what do you offer San Antonio? What's a realistic trade that you get for Leonard? What would you be happy to give up for him?
I would give up anything they want. I would give up Brandon Ingram.
Okay.
I would give up Kyle Kuzma. I would give up Lonzo Ball. Any player that they feel more comfortable with just making this trade work, I would
Not
do.
one. Just say if they say, hey, we want Ingram, Kuzma, Randall, and your first-round pick. Are you happy with it?
Yes.
Wow.
Because it's not an
The
opportunity.
whole cupboard, though. You
Yeah.
can't win with a team with 3 players, though.
You
need
can
9.
get you'll be a free agent destination. They see 3 players like that we've always talked about. Patrick Beverly.
Maybe you can add players like Kyle Korver and J.R. Smith and
With those 3
Jordan
stars,
Clarkson.
that's when it's okay. With those 3 stars, that's when it's okay.
I hear
We
you.
can be on the bench if you have those 3 stars.
You know I can shoot it. So, okay, San Antonio, it seems like they don't want to trade him to the West. And that's why I think Boston and New York are real shots in this. Boston can probably give them the most bang for their buck on Kawhi Leonard, maybe even a Kyrie Irving and, Jaylen Brown. How about Gordon Hayward straight up, or maybe how about Jaylen Brown in a future pick?
Kyrie and Hayward.
I know, even that. So I think Boston can trade the best, but LA can give him a great offer. I think other than Boston, LA can realistically, because I think Ingram is one of the best young players in the NBA. So I think if you give him Ingram and a Kuzma, or Ingram and a Ball, or Ingram and a Julius Randle, I think it really does get the trade done.
Me
I
too.
do. I think LA doesn't want to trade all 3 or 4. I think that's too much because you need to keep some.
I would be willing to do it, but I don't think that's what they would want. I think the Spurs would be satisfied with a Brandon Ingram and a Kuzma. Like, I don't think they would ask for 4. If I could talk and debate with them and say, hey, only 2, I think they would still take the 2 because Kawhi's not happy there. So at least you get a young player who we think is an amazing player in Brandon Ingram, and the sky's the limit for him.
Ingram in San Antonio elevates.
Exactly.
I think he is a 22, 24-point player in San Antonio.
But what I'm worried about, which leans towards your Knicks side, is because Greg Popovich doesn't want to deal Kawhi to the West. So that means he's looking at the East. But you said it, Boston gives him the best package in the East. I don't think the Knicks do. But also interesting, I saw reports saying the Cavaliers want Kawhi Leonard too.
Absolutely. I sent you that picture. But here's the point. Here's a big thing. If Boston, they've done so many things right? They've waited to make the big trade for Kyrie. They kept all the young assets, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Marcus Smart. They still have future number 1 picks. They got tons of future picks. So they've done so many things the correct way. What if Kawhi Leonard says, I don't guarantee to re-sign with you? So will Boston trade up a Gordon Hayward, a Jaylen Brown, if Kawhi doesn't guarantee that he will stay? The only 2 places that I heard that he'll say, I'll sign the Supermax or long-term 5-year, $150, $180 million deal is LA and New York. So maybe Boston won't give him that offer because Kawhi's like, I'm not too sure exactly how Kyrie's saying, hey, I'm not too sure if I want to re-sign here. He might want to go to New York.
Yeah, and I don't know if it was you that said this, but most likely it was you.
Probably.
You just have to win now. Like, I just feel, draft picks are amazing, and players, they can be amazing, but they also can be a bust. I just feel like when you have a star now who's in his prime who wants to play for you, you just do what it takes to get him. I mean, of course, you need to have an overall team to beat the Warriors.
Yeah.
But just having the potential of getting a superstar who's a legitimate superstar, there is no question. The only question you could say is the injury. He missed basically a whole season due to injury. And that has to play some type of an effect because, look at the Cavaliers. Isaiah Thomas got injured. But they're like, oh, well, he should be good. And then obviously it didn't work out.
Great point, but my point is, and I say this all the time, it seems like it's funny that the injury-prone guys don't get injured on really good teams because they want to play to win a championship, right? That's the goal all NBA players want to do is play in the playoffs and play in June and win championships. I think if Kawhi was in LA or if Kawhi was happy 3 years ago and Duncan was there and all the good veterans were there and they weren't seems like San Antonio and Kawhi were arguing back and forth. So I think Kawhi would have came back. I don't think he would have missed the whole season if they were in a good place. They're not in a good place. He just demanded a trade, right? So back to the Boston thing. I just don't think that if Boston if they trade for Kawhi, just say Jaylen Brown in a future first-round pick.
I wouldn't even give up Jaylen Brown, to be honest, but yeah.
I agree. So let's just say they do that, and he doesn't sign. What happens if Kyrie walks and Kawhi and Leonard walks? So now Boston, all this great work they've done, and for 1 year, and I'll give it to you, I think they win the championship if they have Kyrie, Gordon, Kawhi, Jason Tatum, Al Horford. They win the title. They might. But what happens if they both walk away?
That's what's leaning towards the Lakers side again, because if he goes out and says I want to be a Laker, you have this whole Paul George situation again where he's an OKC, but the whole time it's not about how do you think you're doing, it's about whether Paul George leaves and goes to become a Laker.
Okay, what's up,
we
JT?
got a couple Facebook comments from old Richie.
Bring 'em
on.
Pep-Boys Richie.
Pep-Boys!
So he says there's no way or no doubt Lakers get LeBron. His son's already enrolled in LA County schools.
Wait. Sorry,
I'm
read
going
that
with
comment one last time.
There's no doubt Lakers get LeBron. His son is already enrolled in LA high school.
Take it away. I wish he was right, but he's
Okay,
not.
no, this is Max and I both think LeBron's going to LA. So we agree with there. The school thing is the most minute part of it. You can enroll your kid to 3 different schools. He could be enrolled in Akron. He can be enrolled in LA. He could be enrolled
JT.
in Tampa.
Giving you the note.
That's not true.
Dave and I had this debate, and I swore I was right, but I looked it up and I couldn't find a valid
They're
answer.
private schools.
So go ahead, please.
Maybe a private schools, but
Exactly. If it's a public school, I agree. It's private. They can be enrolled.
okay. And then second, he said there's no way
Okay.
any team gives up anything to rent Leonard for 1 year.
Agreed.
that works in the Lakers' favor. That's what I was just
my
saying.
point.
Yeah, because you don't want to rent
Future
him.
Nick.
Yeah, your point was obviously valid, saying why give them young pieces if we don't know if he's staying. That's why I still think the Lakers are the favorite to land him.
And Richie, I'm going to see you tomorrow.
Mano y
Wow.
mano. But that reminds me of fighting. Talking about fighting, Mark Hunt was on the podcast.
Gosh.
Got locked in, baby.
Locked
to
in,
quote him.
baby.
And absolutely amazing. That's going to be at the end of this episode. So if you're listening and you agree, disagree with us, at least you know Mark Hunt is waiting for you at the end of the episode. And I know that sounds scary, but it's really a good thing. It's a good thing, I promise.
And also, we had our first ever fan question for Mark Hunt. It came from all the way from Okinawa.
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 I'm a wordsmith.
You said it like
Okinawa,
100
Japan.
times.
I know. Ben Roethlisberger. Okinawa.
Jeff Francoeur.
Say Gordon.
Hayward.
There you go.
I'm the best in the business, guys. That's why I get paid the big bucks. All right.
I don't even get paid small bucks.
Oh, shit.
I had to pay to be
This
here.
is off-air conversations. But, no, okay, so we agree. I would say the favorite right now is Los Angeles to land Kawhi, LeBron, and Paul George. Do we agree?
Yes. I think Kawhi, 75% Cleveland. I mean, it's 75% L.A., 20% New York, 5% stays in San Antonio. I don't know about the Paul George thing. I thought about that a lot, and I know my locked in last episode is wherever LeBron goes, Paul George goes. I think all three of them are 6'8" wing guys.
They make it work.
Chris
Smart
Paul,
players.
though.
They make it work.
I think you need a point guard.
Trust me, if the Lakers get LeBron, Kawhi, and Chris Paul, I'm not complaining.
Okay,
I'm not
and I got another
complaining.
one. I'm going to give you credit. You ready for this one?
Okay.
You've always said to beat Golden State, you need toughness and height, big, thick. So what happened? That third person, they don't go after Paul George. They go after DeMarcus Cousins.
Again, if that happens, I'm extraordinary. I'm happy. I'm so happy I don't know what I'm going to say. That's how happy I am. Because
Okay.
if you get from what we've had to possibly getting the GOAT and getting Kawhi Leonard and Chris Paul, DeMarcus Cousins, or Paul George, I am elated.
Other than Kevin Durant, I don't think there's another player in the whole entire NBA that fits better with LeBron James than Kawhi Leonard. I really don't.
Yeah, seriously.
It's a yin and yang. It's a perfect yin and yang.
This is so funny you brought this up. Can we just end all of the rumors about KD wanting to play with LeBron?
Oh,
Why is this a topic? So I'm at the YMCA. I'm working out. Go there every day, folks. Getting that grind in. Fueled by Fit Meals. It's getting there. Fresh locked in tea. Muscle showing. Anyway.
844 fit for you.
One more time.
844 fit for you.
You didn't even let me say one more time. There we go. So, listen, I'm there. I'm looking. I'm like, usually I'm so frustrated then because ESPN's showing. And I'm like, no, I need Fox Sports to show. I don't want, no disrespect to ESPN, but I like Fox Sports better. So I'm watching that.
Of course.
And a topic came up, and usually like Fox Sports talks about good stuff. Okay, so technical difficulties were good.
Yeah, no problem. We'll roll with the punches like Mark Hunt does.
Okay, so normally they talk about like big major topics that when you always say when there's smoke, there's fire.
Yes.
And I saw is KD, will he be a Laker with LeBron? Will he join LeBron? And I'm like, this shouldn't even be a topic. He just won 2 championships, 2 final MVPs.
Mm-hmm.
He's the star of the team. He's the number 1 guy on the team, arguably the greatest team of all time, at least top 5. Why would he leave that?
Okay.
Validation.
I was just going to say, he could leave. But the only reason why he would leave is not to join LeBron, because everyone would say, hey, you're just joining LeBron, kind of like you did Golden State. So if he left, he would go to, like, his home team like Washington and try to win with John Wall and Beal. He would try to go back to OKC and kind of what LeBron did. He left. He got a lot of bad blood, then went back to the team. So maybe he tries to join Paul George and Russell Westbrook. And then that's a good big 3, and especially that would match up with Golden State. So he could leave, but to do it more kind of on his own. There's no Zero chance. And I'm a gray guy. I'm not a black or white guy. There's zero chance Kevin Durant and LeBron James plays together next year. Zero.
Okay, we agree on that.
Yeah,
we squashed that. That's
let's go to
not
our
happening.
43rd topic of the day.
Okay, 43rd topic. Well, before we get into that, again, guys, Mark Hunt waiting for you at the end of this episode in a friendly way. He's not trying to fight you. Absolutely amazing. We talk about the steroid use in MMA and sports in general. We talk about the super fights between John Jones and Brock Lesnar that is kind of rumor mill speculation. Talk about Conor McGregor's return, his career. It's phenomenal. So make sure you guys stay tuned. And now is my 43rd topic, Dave.
Okay, I'm ready.
DeMarcus Cousins. It's almost because this is arguably the greatest free agency the NBA's ever had.
Yeah.
You can make that argument, especially with Kawhi Leonard and what he's stirred up has made it that much better.
Mm-hmm.
DeMarcus Cousins has kind of flown under the radar, and he's arguably the best center in the league. Talent-wise, he's a knucklehead, but talent-wise, he's arguably the best center in the league.
He's definitely top 5. Like, there's no
doubt.
Okay.
Okay, so that being said, it's
Mhm.
crazy someone in that magnitude goes under the radar. Where does he land?
If I had to guess right now, I think he stays a Pelican. I think he has a great relationship with Anthony Davis. Remember at the All-Star game, that's right before Cousins got hurt, and Cousins was going to start that game, and Anthony Davis wore DeMarcus Cousins' jersey. So I think there's a great relationship there. The Pelicans had the best season of their existence.
Franchise.
Yeah, franchise. They won a playoff series. They beat Portland. Drew Holiday had a really good season for them. I honestly think they're a wing. They're a J.J. Redick and a Covington away from being a top 2, top 3 best team in the West. They're 2 wing players away. Maybe a Jamal Crawford type.
If Paul George goes there, I don't think he will. But what I'm saying is, yeah, you're right. They need a wing because Rondo, when he's put in those positions where it's his run his way and he's in like a playoff, he's a playoff player.
Yeah.
He can affect the game defensively, and he's great at distributing the basketball and elevating others. Then, like you said, Drew Holiday at the 2 is a great defender and scorer.
Yes.
But you need that wing defender, that wing scorer, that wing shooter.
And Anthony Davis is getting better and better. He's getting more mature. He's learning how to win and win. He went to 25 wins, to 35 wins, to 40, 42. Playoffs, swept. Playoffs, won a series. So he's getting better and better. And it is what it is. LeBron, Durant, all these guys get a year older, 2, 3, 4 years. It's an Anthony Davis, Ben Simmons, Greek Freak League. Those are the 3 best players probably in the next 5 years.
Agree. And the last thing I will say as far as NBA that's been kind of under the radar that I definitely want to talk about with you is everyone is just announcing if LeBron leaves, the Celtics own the East. And I understand why. Like, I completely understand. You have the best coach. You have Kyrie Irving coming back. But we've even said with him coming back healthy, the way Terry Rozier played, he's not going to put up that much better numbers than what Terry Rozier did. And now you're limiting Terry Rozier, so he's not the same player he was this year. Same with Jaylen Brown. Same with Jason Tatum, especially when Gordon Hayward comes back. All their roles are limited now. And I'm not saying they won't be a phenomenal team, but are we not forgetting about the 76ers? Like, with Ben Simmons, who we think could be the best player in the league, with Joel Embiid healthy, who's you could say is the best center in the league. We're just in Covington, and you have Saric, and you have Bellinelli, and if Redick stays, and of course if LeBron goes. But even without LeBron, I do think they are a serious threat to the Celtics.
I agree. And the sleeper in all this, they have the 10th pick of the draft. Like Kyle Kuzma came from the 27th selection. If they get a asset at the 10th pick, and I think they will, Miles Bridges, a Knox. What if somehow someone slips, like a Wendell Carter? I like Colin Sexton. And Colin Sexton could be a really good player with Ben Simmons because Ben Simmons is the 1, but Colin Sexton could defend the 1. Just anything will help him. Boston, they can only get so much better. They were 1 game away from the NBA Finals. So they're adding 2 veteran types, 2 guys that need the ball a lot, 2 guys that shoot the ball a lot. And they're both legit scorers. They're both 20-plus point a game. That's taken away from Jason Tatum. That's taken away from Jaylen Brown. That's taken away from Rozier. So they're not going to just add 45 more points. They're not going to score 172 points a game. You know what I mean? So the points have to get taken away. I think it's a 2-team race. I think it's how everyone thought this year was Golden State or Houston. I think everyone thinks it's going to be Boston will be in the lead. I give them the lead, but I think Philly has a legit shot against them.
Imagine if all this comes to fruition. LeBron James is a Laker, Paul George is a Laker, Kawhi Leonard's a Laker. You have a good supporting cast without getting rid of all your youth. And just so we could be looking at Lakers-Celtics rivalry 2.0, 3.0.
3 point. I was just gonna say that. Wow, I didn't even think about
That's pretty
that.
cool. So then
Oh,
now
yeah.
your two powerhouses in the league are back alive. The Golden State Warrior dynasty. Houston's really good if Chris Paul stays.
Mhm.
And then you also have the young Philadelphia 76ers.
I would pay $226 to see LeBron James versus Kyrie Irving in the NBA Finals.
That's an understatement. I would give an arm to no way. But no, exactly. Lakers, Celtics. This could be the best time in the NBA. Dave, you got anything else for me?
Do you think can we talk about the Knicks for like 2 minutes?
Of course, we could talk about the Knicks.
In the next 2 to 3 years, do they land a Kyrie Irving, a Kawhi Leonard, or a Greek Freak?
That's a great question. Because now, look, I would say yes, but this free agency is just in such a scramble. If LeBron goes to the Celtics, then my answer is immediately yes. So it's really weird because of where all these moving pieces may land. But just if I had to give you the blind answer, I would say yes. I think New York will give you one of those because there's a lot of egos that we always talk about in the NBA as far as being the man, being the best player, wanting the money. There's always ego involved. And what better ego place than New York? Because you're the center of attention. You're in Madison Square Garden. You have young Porzingis, the new coach. It's a major market. So my answer is yes. You will get a star.
And Fizdale, like you said, the new coach, he's not even like a LeBron guy or Dwayne Wade guy. NBA players across the board love Fizdale.
Besides Marc Gasol.
Take that for data. So Fizdale
LeVar Ball and now Mark Fizdale.
I'm the new Jimmy Fallon.
Drop mic, Dave. Drop mic.
All right. Before we go any further, we're going to talk about Mark Hunt in the interview coming up. We have Sean, the producer, to wrap us into the World Cup.
There we go.
All right.
Sean, spotlight's on you.
That's right. It's a little nervous here. So,
First of all, Sean,
yes, sir.
I'm so upset that America's not in it. Right? I'm heartbroken.
Coaching. I was talking to a buddy of mine, and we were.
So we have the players.
Kind of, sort of. I think we need some, I need a little bit more background knowledge on it. I don't know as much about soccer as you guys do about basketball.
I don't know a lot about soccer.
I know Mexico beat Germany. I know that.
Right. Well, you're stepping on my toes, but that's
Sorry. The floor is yours.
No, it's all. That's where I was actually gonna start off right there because last year, the last World Cup 2014 was Germany and Argentina. And I think
in the finals?
And
Germany won.
1-0, yes.
Okay.
So I was
1-0.
Yeah, they're defending champ.
I
Yes.
like that.
So Mexico kind of stunned the world and beat them 1-0, which is it's huge, in the first round for, a team like that to do that in the group. I mean, the first group it's kind of tough.
But it doesn't eliminate Germany just yet, right?
No,
Okay.
they
Stepping
do
on his toes.
No,
Dave.
that's okay. There's 32 teams.
Okay.
And there's 8 groups. Each group has 4 teams. So the first round there's basically 3 matches, and the top 2 of each group moves on.
Okay.
So they lost the first. They could win the next 2 games, and if things fall the right way, they could still make it to the next group.
How many points do they get for a win?
3.
How many points do they get for a draw?
1.
And 0 for a loss.
Correct.
And then if they tie, just say 2 draws and 1 win, so it's 2-2, then the most goals move on.
It's goal. Yeah,
Okay.
I think it's either goal differential or total goals. I'll look up exactly by the end of
So
it.
Germany still has a shot to move on.
Right.
Okay.
They do. They're in Group F. They've got Sweden, Mexico, South Korea, and Germany. So I mean, Sweden beat South Korea. So I think that they're the strongest team in that group. So I think easily they can, definitely if they can pull out 2 more wins and say you have a couple ties, they can easily pull right in there. So I mean, if both Sweden and Mexico tie both of their games, then that's 5. Germany wins 2.
Right.
6. But it is crazy. So the ball is kind of taken out of their hands. They don't control their own fate.
Right. Exactly. Okay. Exactly. It's they have to win.
Sure.
They win first, then it goes from there.
Okay. What else you got for us?
Well, I was going to say that match. They say in the 35th minute there was a tweet went out that they caused an artificial earthquake.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm not a soccer guy. but I absolutely love the World Cup, and that's why I'm so devastated America's not in it. I remember the commercials, I believe that we can win, right?
Yeah.
Something like that.
I believe that we will win.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
will win.
it's
It's like,
just
God, it's awesome.
spirit. Yeah,
the
it's the
whole
spirit.
country is rooting for it. There's no, I'm a Yankee fan and
It's
a
like
Red
the
Sox
Olympics.
fan. Yeah, it's just but even more passion than the Olympics, I think.
I've got
And-
something on that too, like
Okay.
because with
Wow.
the U.S. not being in there, there's a lot of the people in the States, they have to figure out who they're going to root for.
Adopt a team.
Did you see Landon Donovan's tweet?
Yes, that was the most funny. He broke the internet.
Yeah, he's like he held up a you know how they wear scarves, do you
Yeah.
know, Max?
Yeah, yeah.
So he held up a scarf and says, "My other team is Mexico," and that didn't sit well with some of their players. I think Kobe Jones, who he works for Fox now, he goes they're in the Coca-Cola, they're like
Yes.
a rival.
Yeah.
He goes, you don't see like Brazil going for Argentina, you don't see that.
Yeah.
He goes, so he was a little perturbed a little bit by that.
I did see that the World Cup's coming to the North America in 2026.
Yes.
That's insane.
exciting. I kinda
That's
wanna do
exciting.
that.
Locked In will be there.
Yeah, I want to go. That's definitely a
Surprise,
bucket
surprise.
list thing, and I would definitely like to do something like that.
Sean,
so.
we'll get your tickets.
There you go.
Tickets already bought, guys.
The other thing, the other team, Argentina. Me and you discussed because when you were asking about the World Cup, you just said, "Where does Messi play?"
Yeah, I'm a messy guy.
You are very messy. Just not your hair. Your hair is always nice and
Wicked Cutz.
exactly.
Thank you.
So Iceland actually tied Argentina.
Oh, man.
And your boy Messi had an opportunity. He had a penalty kick in the 64th minute, and it was saved, which
Wow.
almost never happens, especially with a guy like Messi.
Yeah.
Another interesting stat, we were talking about the artificial earthquake. I was reading that they said that 99.6% of people in Iceland were watching the match.
Holy shit.
Wow.
Their population is 330,000.
No, but still, that's incredible.
You talked about how like the entire country,
Yeah.
the entire nation.
That's
I can't get 99.6% of my people living in my house to pee in the potty. That's amazing.
that's incredible.
I'll go down a
my
couple quick
gosh.
highlights. Another one of the
Throw that
favorites.
stat again. I want to hear it again.
99.6%.
What?
That's crazy. That's engagement right
That's
there.
insane.
That's your nation rallying
I
behind
wonder-
your team.
I wonder how much like sponsors and advertisements must cost for that.
I want to know the 7 assholes that were watching the game. That's what I want to know. Iceland, those 7 people, deport them.
They were all
That was-
American.
That was a little tough there at the end.
I'm getting like Mark Hunt. I'm getting amped up.
They're probably giving birth or something.
I was going to say, Dave's getting a little
excuses.
trumpy over here.
Hey.
Anyway, a couple more highlights before I give it back up. Brazil tied Switzerland, so that's another one of the favorites that didn't start off on the good leg with with 3 points. Spain and Portugal also drawed with Ronaldo scoring all 3 goals. He
I
got a
like
hat trick.
Ronaldo.
Yep.
I like Ronaldo.
He had a hat trick?
Yeah, he had a hat trick. He scored
You
all
could
3
take
goals.
Messi. I'll take Ronaldo.
There you go. Sweden beat South Korea, like I said.
Okay.
Panama. Now Panama was the team that got in because the U.S. were eliminated.
I love going to Panama City.
They were. Panama was ranked 55th in the world. They were playing Belgium, who is ranked 3rd in the world. Who do you think won that match?
Just with your conversation, I say Panama.
Panama lost 3-0.
Okay.
And then the latest match that we've got, there's still 2 more matches of the first day matches that's going to happen tomorrow.
Yeah.
As we record this, we're recording this on a Monday. So today, England actually pulled out a 2-1 victory.
They're really good, right, England?
They're actually looking pretty good this year, as kind of like one of those that could kind of
Sure.
surprise people.
Sneaker, dark horse.
Yeah, kind of. They have the team to do it, but you
Yeah.
know. But Harry Kane for England actually scored both goals, and the second goal he scored was a corner kick in the 91st minute. Wow. Which I don't know if you know the rules of that. Basically, it's 2 45-minute halves.
Yep.
And then they have stoppage time. So there was 2 minutes of stoppage time, and he scored the winner.
That could be a big goal.
Yeah, because that's the difference. I mean, that's 2 extra
Yeah.
points, and that's 1 less point, for the other team. So
Wow.
And the only thing I saw,
Tanzania.
I watched Russia. That was the first game of the whole, because they're the home
Right.
home team.
home court.
They scored 5 goals.
Yeah.
It was awesome. Like I was.
You don't see that, especially in the World Cup level, that many goals in
Exactly.
a match. It's,
Sean, that was awesome.
Yeah.
Standing ovation.
Is that it?
by
I don't
Sid.
want to like cut you
No,
off.
that's
All
pretty
right.
much it. So we'll check in next week after
Yeah,
this.
next week
and
I
we'll
want
see-
every week a World
we'll
Cup.
See,
This is
we'll
awesome.
see.
Okay.
We'll have some eliminations. We'll have some other predictions and going forward from there. Hopefully, we're going to do a locked in at Orlando City match.
Could be
So,
around July.
Hopefully
14th,
July something
maybe.
hasn't
Okay.
100%. We're about 99.6% locked in on the
I
date.
like that. I like that.
But yeah.
Those
So
7 assholes.
yeah, exactly.
Look at, there's so many things coming up. There's so many live events. We can't even say them on air yet. We got backhanded deals coming.
Dude,
We're gonna be
Well,
everywhere
no, it's
soon.
interesting. So we're
Okay.
talking about Russia. Khabib. What happened?
Nothing. I was saying backhand deals. You said Russia. That was funny.
It just worked out.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you said
segue.
Russia soccer, so it made me think Khabib.
Yeah.
Did you see this thing of Khabib playing basketball?
I did not.
I didn't get to watch him, but if he is really good at basketball, it made me think. And now this is no disrespect to Russia, of course, but the NBA is the hardest league to get into. And like as far as basketball standards, the NBA is the hardest league to
Yeah,
get into.
NBA would be the
Yeah,
hardest
that's-
basketball league.
Well, there's
Okay.
other
in the world?
Yeah, that's what I'm
Okay.
saying. So
Gotcha,
do you have
yeah.
Spain? You'd say is like number 2, but the one that LeVar Ball's kids played in was in Lithuania, and you could say that competition wasn't as great. Would he be the first ever UFC fighter if he was really good at basketball to play? First UFC fighter to play basketball professionally.
Yeah, of course.
How incredible would that be? So then he would literally be a professional basketball and fighter. I'm not saying it would happen, but it made me think because if the Russian league wasn't as go ahead, Sean.
No, finish. I was just letting you know
Prestigious, like I'm sure it wouldn't require as much skill to get into it compared to the NBA.
Right. So on that your little segue of that came into my question. You like to do your hypotheticals. You like
Yeah.
to do your little thing here.
Ooh, here we go. Here we go.
How much training would LeBron James need to be a UFC fighter? Turn your mic off.
Okay. I was so excited to turn the mic off. So look, I would love this conversation. Okay. I've been talking with Dave with this. If he decided right away, I want to do a podcast on this, by the way. So this is just my
A little preview.
Yeah, this is my quick Cliff Notes version of it. So if he started with MMA, he'd be a UFC champion. But if he stopped right now and fought in MMA, like just he trained now, like kind of like what Floyd did, like just start training right now, he could still be a UFC champion. I mean that. And in all seriousness, I'm a LeBron homer.
How long would it take?
I'm a LeBron homer, but all seriousness, if he trained for 2 years, maybe 3, he probably needs 3 years, and then he's still not old. He wouldn't fight that long. He wouldn't have a long career. But he'd be around 36 years old as a UFC fighter. That's not crazy. He's 6'8". He'd be the most athletic fighter in the UFC, the longest reach, and on top of that, Dave's shaking his head no. I think he could do it. I seriously do.
You do realize he can't flop in the octagon and they're going to call a penalty.
He can't flop, but he's never actually hit someone full force in the NBA either.
I saw him get a cramp once, and he was like out for like 2 hours and 10 minutes.
Yeah, what if
I've
the
also seen
AC
him-
gets shut off at Madison Square Garden? He's going to get cramps in his legs. He's not going to be able to kick anybody.
I've seen him bulldoze people,
I
and he's
know.
not allowed to do that.
I know.
So
I'm
just saying.
I'm just doing it
So
to
you
give you
ready?
shit because I love to do
LeBron,
that.
if he put his head to it, he could do any sport he decided to play. As of right now, his chances are slimmer than it would be if he started doing that sport originally.
Athletic-wise, I 100% agree. But I've said this, especially about the fight game. It's 80% your mental, your work ethic, your not work, just your grind, it's a fight thing. I love going to Pete White's gym. I love hitting the bag. I'm just my gut. I'm just not a fighter. I'm just not going to get into an MMA fight with Chris Mixon. I like him. I just want to talk to him and say, "What's up, man?" Hang out.
I'm not arguing that point, but I've seen MMA fighters, and I'm not just like no specifics, but like when I used to wrestle when I was young, they don't always play hard on the court. Like you wouldn't think they're a fighter because that just doesn't come naturally to them. So you wouldn't be like, this guy's a fighter because he's not playing physical basketball. They would shoot threes and play like they didn't want to get hit going to the lane because they're not familiar with it. So it's hard to judge on what a person can do. Like, yeah, he's shown signs of flopping, but he also hasn't been allowed to engage with someone where he can let all his force out on someone.
Right, and I say that jokingly. It's become a part of the game, just like it is in soccer. There's a lot of flopping, a lot of that type of thing.
Oh, I love the
there
flopping
too.
in soccer.
But
You ever seen that sniper meet? The sniper.
yes.
If I bet my money on it, he wouldn't be able to do it. But there's a chance.
Google that. Put that in the Googs and look for the
I'm going to
sniper.
Google image that as soon as we're done.
But to that point is in the training aspect of it. I think when we discussed the Conor Mayweather fight, if he started now in his early 30s, he's what 34, 33, 34, yeah. I was doing my math. I'm like 18. He's been in the league 15 years because you've said.
Knowing my
50
luck, it's
you've
like his birthday was last month. So
Yeah,
he's probably
exactly.
34.
Yeah, exactly.
So-
But would he come into some of the same sort of like habits as when you're in basketball and you're posting up and you're in, it's a different type of physicality. Do you think it would probably hinder any sort of like fight?
No, I think there's pros and cons to both. One, I think his footwork would be exceptional because you have to have great footwork to play basketball.
Great point.
So that
he doesn't have to worry about dribbling because he doesn't do it anyway.
Yeah, that would be the pro. The negative is just getting used, like Dave said it's just getting used to the MMA, just the atmosphere. It's completely different than basketball. I don't think he'll have any of like, oh, wow, I'm supposed to spin here. Like, I don't think he would ever think that, but I think it would take him quite a while to get used to getting hit.
I don't think he will take a punch. I just have that gut feeling about him. Question for you, and I have an answer, so I'm ready for this. Who do you think give 1 year of training? The NBA stops. You have 1 year NBA players. Who would be the best UFC fighter? And I have the answer.
John Rafford always says the player on the Miami Heat. I forget his name.
James Jones.
Yeah.
James Johnson.
Yeah.
From Wake Forest.
He says that every single time. That's my number one.
Dang,
he said
the professor.
He does boxing.
Yep.
So
he's really good.
Yeah. So that's my number one.
Okay.
My number two.
Mm-hmm.
Now this is interesting because I know I'm a LeBron homer. I'm not going to say LeBron just for argument's sake. I won't say LeBron, but I will say.
What?
I know. I know.
Hashtag goat cheese.
Damn. Okay.
Tough crowd.
I still think he's the GOAT, but that's not the point. So I think it's the one guy's number one.
Okay.
I think Tyson Chandler is an interesting one because he boxes and he's 7 feet tall.
That's a good one. I'll give you credit. That's a good one. I got a better one than that. You ready?
DeMarcus Cousins.
No, he's fake. I think he's a fake tough guy. I got one. Russell Westbrook. I think he's like Kobe Covington. I think his pace would be unbelievable. His body, he's legit strong. I think he would be a lower weight class. All three of those guys you said are heavyweights. They would have to lose weight to be heavyweights. Russell Westbrook would be like a middleweight, full steam, full ahead. Kobe Covington. Russell Westbrook would be a great UFC fighter.
I could see that. He'd be a great running back. He'd be a great fighter. He's
a horrible teammate. We agree on that.
Okay, we
but
agree.
He would be a great UFC fighter.
Successful night.
don't
Mark
have-
Hunt is on locked in,
Yep.
and Dave just admitted Russell Westbrook's not a good teammate.
Well, he's been saying selfish Russell. I can't even.
No,
oh my
he
God,
changed
I am
back
not
on it.
I
He
know,
changed
I
back
know,
on it.
I
He's a
know.
wordsmith.
He's
Thanks.
the
Hey, real quick,
Yes,
and
sir.
Sean, we'll get you in on this one. I will swing to a new sport,
Ooh.
to baseball. Okay,
Yes, sir.
I am a die-hard New York Yankee fan. They are on fire. The best record in the American League. They are winning the American League East.
My boss is at
Yes,
that
sir.
game.
Boss?
He's off this week. He
very
said
cool.
he was going to go to the Yankees game.
Dude, good boss. Boston started the season like 10-1 or 12-1, one of the best starts of the season, and everyone thought they were going to run away with the division. But the Yankees are on fire. They have Gleyber Torres, the best rookie, could be rookie of the year. He's so good. He could be rookie of the year and the MVP. Aaron Judge is amazing, of course. They got the best pitcher in baseball, probably Cy Young, Luis Severino. Telling you guys, if out there, watch the New York Yankees. They are winning the championship this year. And the
Agree.
surprise team
I was gonna say
of
who
the
has
National League
who has the best team in the who's the best record in the National League?
East is the Atlanta Braves. Dun, 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 dun. The Atlanta Braves, and Sean, before the season, the producer, he's a diehard Braves fan. He's kind of been off from the last couple of years because they've been bad.
No, they have the
And-
best record.
Well, there you go. And I go, Sean, don't sleep on the Braves this year. They have 2 or 3 really young players. They have 1 young phenom. Watch the Braves this year. And what's the record this year?
They're 42-29.
Who locked that in before the season?
They're only 6. They're 6 games back of the Yankees overall. But the Red Sox and the Yankees are actually technically tied.
What's the Yankees record?
47-22.
God, that's awesome.
The Sox are 49-24. So I think win percentage the
It's the
Yankees,
Yankees,
have them, but they're tied,
Okay.
quote unquote, in that. But the Astros are 48-25 right there. Mariners 46-26.
And it's awesome. Like the MVP race, you got Bryce Harper in the MVP race. You got Mike Trout in the MVP race. This might be the most watched baseball season and postseason. The Astros, the defending champions, they're back. They're awesome. It's a stack. I just want people to know, watch baseball after you went to Pete White's gym.
Yeah, I'm getting excited about it. I still haven't watched a game. I'm watching my feed on my app as the scores come in and the highlights.
Oh, I
that
bought
sort
the
of thing.
package.
Oh, nice. Well,
I
I would like you to share your package with me, Dave.
I hear that all the time.
The wink doesn't work on the podcast. I yelled at Goldstone last week.
Yeah.
The wink. They don't see the wink. Maybe on the Facebook Live. Is it back up?
Yeah, it's back
Okay,
up.
sorry. We lost
Is
Facebook
Richie
Live
still
for a
there?
little bit.
Not so much now.
Oh,
Hey,
we're
Richie,
live
where
right
you
now?
at, buddy?
Yeah, we had a little technical difficulty with
Power
his,
supply
with his
issue.
power
Yeah.
supply. Kind of
I didn't have any power cutting.
We don't have enough power.
I just had to look again, make sure the green light was
Yeah.
on.
Okay, so we talked baseball. We talked World Cup. We talked. You want to talk more MMA?
I want to listen to the Mark Hunt interview.
Oh.
I really do.
I'm
Like,
ready
it's-
for that. It's
yeah.
that good.
It was
before we get
extremely
into it,
awesome.
I do want to say check out Pep-Boys.
Yes.
They're Pep-Boys in Daytona Beach, Florida, right near the racetrack.
right across the street.
Yeah, they help you with any car issues you have, and just what phenomenal people. We always talk about like what great companies there are, but I think the people is the most underrated part of it, because you can have a great company, but if you don't have great service and great people that actually care about you, I don't think it really matters. And all these people, Wicked Cutz, Fit Meals with Dimitri, just Pep-Boys are phenomenal people. So make sure you check out Pep-Boys. Dave,
Yeah.
what happens when your car goes? I'll let you steal my saying. You stole Pep-Boys.
That?
Okay, you
Yeah.
did pretty good. Check out Pep-Boys.
I was gonna say my wife a week or so ago went in there and she walked right up to the counter and goes, "Yeah, I'm looking for Richie," and it was Richie at the counter. So
Exactly.
he helped them out great. You know,
He's always there. He's
Was-
always working.
Don't
my-
say that.
my-
I went in there looking for him. He wasn't there.
my
Because we told him that you were coming.
yeah, exactly. We warned them. My 2-year-old was going around there. He got a little car and everything, and he took great. She was in and out like no time, so
They're-
it was really great.
They're the best.
She told him she was there for locked ins. They took care of her. It was great.
So, guys, if you're listening to the podcast or you're watching this, go to Pep-Boys if you have any car issues and tell him that Locked In sent you. He'll get you a free Snickers bar at least.
A little Hot Wheels car.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go. Okay, guys, it's the time we've been waiting for. Mark Hunt, UFC veteran, MMA legend. Dave's flexing for the camera. Guys, listen, I hope you guys enjoy it. Give him a follow on all social media platforms. It's a phenomenal interview. And like always, guys, stay locked in, and I hope you guys enjoy it.
All right, stay locked in.
And we are live. Mark Hunt joining us, UFC legend, MMA veteran. Thank you so much for getting locked in, sir.
Yo, thanks for having me on the show, guys. Appreciate it.
Absolute pleasure. Not going to beat around the bush here. So you've put on some of the best fights in Pride and UFC. You've had an illustrious career. But if you had to choose one, which fight meant the most to you?
Right now, the fight to try and make it even with against these steroid-using cheaters. That's the fight I'm interested in.
Oh, boy.
Here we
So-
go. I love this.
Okay.
Well, I mean, to be honest, I mean, at the end of the day, that's why we're here. So, I mean, that's the only fight that really matters at the moment. And try and make it even. It's what I'm about now. It's not any fight that I've had physically or mentally. It's just, it was before the steroids. It was the fight to just stay afloat, fighting because of my age and stuff. But the fight to try and make it an even playing field is important. Very important.
Oh, absolutely.
Do you like the
Absolutely.
testing? Or do you think the UFC is in the right direction as far as testing the athletes for steroids?
Of course, I don't have no issue with the testings, with anything with USADA, all that. I have an issue with the time that the results are back. I have an issue with enforcement of those penalties, and I have an issue with harsher penalties. They need more harsher penalties because I've said it before. Nothing, it hasn't happened yet, but if someone gets killed because of a steroid user, then there should be criminal proceedings. Not no $250,000 fine or time off. That's rubbish. Should be criminal proceedings. They should go to jail.
Well,
Because it is murder. It's premeditated murder.
Sure.
yeah,
No,
you're in a
sure.
combat sport and you're
No,
taking enhancing
I'm not
drugs.
fucking
Yeah,
with you.
yeah, I
Telling
completely
you straight
agree.
up, that's what it is.
Okay, so before we get into specifics as far as who was taking what or who fought who, like, for example, obviously you fought against Brock Lesnar and he tested positive for steroids. I was just curious, do you have a suspicion, like, hey, I think that guy may be on something. Can you test him? Is that something you can notice before a fight?
Well, I can see someone and look at them and say, hey, man, he looks jacked. He looks this and that.
Yeah.
But I don't actually know. I'm just assuming and saying that he's this. When I see someone that, well, for instance, Brock Lesnar was the last one of a string of guys that I fought against. And that's what really turned me the tide is like, there's nothing being done about this. The thing about Brock is they said he was like 500 grams or whatever he was, heavier than me. The guy was 3 times my size. All
Yeah.
muscle. So, I mean, and muscle weighs heavier than fat. How could he be that? You know. So I mean, yeah, I think But just looking at someone, you can't just say, you know, that you're right. I mean, if I look at someone and say, oh, he's a big guy, he's this and he's cheating. That's all I can say that, but that's all I can do. I don't actually know that he's on gear or whatever it is, unless I actually physically go and take blood from him and say, okay, let's go and test his blood. So
Sure.
me just saying shit like that is just saying it. I don't actually know.
It's interesting with Brock too because he's a freak of nature. So people just assume that he's this big bulk of muscle.
He's not a freak of nature. He's just a cheater. Don't give him those props. Why do people like give these guys these props for? They don't deserve it. Well, for one, they're shortcut takers. That's all they are. They take shortcuts because they can't cut it properly. Like all of us, we get to work, we go to do it properly. In this line of work, you should be lifted up because you've done the right thing. You've done it the hard way, the proper way. Don't give these guys a freak of nature tag or all these monsters. He's not. He's a cheater. Basic bottom line is he's gone and stuck needles in his ass and cheated to get to where he is. Don't give him those props. Don't give any of these cheaters these props for what they've done. Because they shouldn't. They don't deserve it. They don't deserve these props.
I agree.
Now, when I sit and I conversate with some of my friends, they bring up guys that are great, talented fighters, but some of these guys are just cheaters. So, you know, I say to them, I said, man, why are you giving those props for?
Yeah.
You didn't deserve it.
No, Mark, I thought you had a
taker.
Yeah, you had a great point. Why even have a 1, 2, or 3 strike? If you get popped once, just get him out of the sport. There's no reason exactly right. If you don't put the hammer down right away, they will do it once or twice, or they'll get around.
I think once with depending on what, because it could be like you said, there could be something like tainted, but you know when they say dick pills, all this shit, it's not really the truth. I mean, you got to take a lot of shit to get busted, but I mean, you're right. I think 5 years to 10,
Yes.
something really big.
Yes.
And the next time is lifetime. You know, you can't really just say.
100% agree.
Mark, okay, so we're talking about steroids, testing positive for that kind of stuff. So obviously John Jones and Brock Lesnar seem to be the poster boys for that. And they're the two biggest stars, you could say, as far as the UFC who tested positive for those things because where they were on the peak of their prime, and John Jones was a champion. He got caught with that. We all know his backstory. So obviously seeing your position on it, it must just infuriate you seeing John Jones and Brock Lesnar potential super fight in the talking.
Well, I mean, there's your legitimacy of it. Just we all know it's about money to make the business. I mean, they're not trying to kid anyone with what they're trying to do. Don't say that. Call it what it is. It's just we're here to make money and that's it. It's a business. We understand that. But when someone dies because of it, who's gonna foot the bill?
Yeah.
Who's going to take responsibility for it? Who's going to take responsibility for that person's life, for their families? You know, that's what it comes down to in the end.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Hey, Mark, quick question for you. What made you switch from boxing to kickboxing to MMA?
Well, to be honest, I just used boxing. I got turned pro accidentally, not accidentally. The promoter was a bit of a crook.
Okay.
So he had a boy that he was putting up to try and get somewhere, and I was just the fill-in guy. And
okay.
At that time, I was still smoking and drinking, and I was just the fill-in guy. He said, "Oh, come on, Mark, we'll go turn you pro." And I said, "Oh, okay, yeah, why not?" That's how it started.
Okay. Hey, I love it.
We talk about your career. Seriously, you've probably seen the best of the best fall, the best of the best rise. Through your days in Pride and through the days now in UFC, do you see an evolution in the game as far as the sport, and do you think it's headed in the right direction?
I think, yeah. I mean, UFC's you got to give them props for making the sport mainstream, taking it to where it is. There's no doubt about that. And of course, I mean, they're making superstars of the fighters coming through. I think it's great. I think they're taking the sport the right direction. People call the sport MMA UFC now. They don't call it MMA. They say, you do UFC. And I said, wow, I do work for UFC, but I'm a mixed martial artist. That's the difference here. But they don't get that. They think UFC is mixed martial arts. But that's how good the UFC have made the sport. So they've taken it a lot of places to be mainstream, which is great. So I think it's in the right direction. I think for other stuff, like with the steroids and penalties, I think they need to be a bit more harsher.
Yep.
They need to enforce them. and take care of the fighters' health and safety is what's important here.
Absolutely. Hey, Mark, we asked our fans to throw in a question, and we got one just right up that alley. We actually got a question from Okinawa, Japan, someone from the armed forces. We're very thankful for them. And his question, yeah, very cool, very cool. His question was, how do you feel about the evolution upswing about your region's fighters like Robert Whitaker, Tyson Pedro, Jake Matthews, even Megan Anderson? How do you feel about, definitely the upswing of talent from your area?
I think it's great this side of the world. The Oceania area is plus Japan is good. I think there needs to be some new young stars coming through, some young blood. Tyson, all the guys you just mentioned. The champ Robert Whitaker.
Yeah, amazing.
Next level. These guys are amazing. It's about time we get some fighters from this side of the world coming through to take it to the next level.
Sure.
I think it's great. I think it's absolutely awesome, and it needs to be the guys and the companies that need to get behind all these guys and lift them up even higher, which is great. So I mean, everyone from your side of the world, which is America, and that there's a lot of stars out always. It just needs there's a lot growing from down here too, because there's a whole lot of talent from down under, which is great.
Tons of talent.
Yeah.
Mark Hunt joining us, UFC veteran, UFC legend, MMA legend. Okay, so Dave and I pretty much debate sports all day. It could be basketball, it could be football, it could be soccer, it could be MMA. And some of our debates make sense, some of them don't. So I'm just going to give you one of our funny debates we have. We've had a debate about who's had the best chin in MMA. And I've said Mark Hunt's my number one. I've said Nick Diaz and Nate Diaz. I kind of combine them because they're both just insane with their chin. And then I'd say Dan Henderson is next. Do you agree with that list?
Yes.
Okay,
I won that
round.
debate.
Yeah, of course.
I won that
There's
debate.
no argument. It's not really a good thing to have the greatest chin in fucking combat, but I don't. It is what it is.
You fought heavyweights too, so it kind of just gives you that extra boost because you fought people who can hit so much harder.
Yeah. Well, I think you're right there.
There we go.
I'm not disagreeing anyway. So.
Are you a fan of the super fights? Like there's talks that Connor's coming back. Floyd may go to in the MMA and the Octagon. I don't think that's happening, but the Khabib, Connor, like I said, John Jones, Brock Lesnar, TJ Dillashaw, Mighty Mouse. Do you like the super fight direction?
Of course, I think it's great. I think there's a lot of great fighters you just mentioned there with the super fights. So yeah, I think it's a great way to go things. I mean, if the guy is dominating in the division and you can't get any beaten, there's always someone else going to come along, different division. So I think it's great.
Very cool. Here, Mark, I got a two-part question for you. And it was funny. I was looking this up, and I hope you got Sky Miles. Your fights in the UFC have been everywhere. Australia, Mexico, Japan, Las Vegas. What's your favorite place to fight? And does it matter where you fight? Do you have a feeling on it?
Yeah, I think it's. I'd fight anywhere. I mean, my favorite place to fight is probably at home here in Australia.
Yeah.
For me, it doesn't matter where I fight. I mean, it's a longer traveling over to a different country for fighting. So, but I'll fight in the fucking, in the car park if I have to. But yeah, I don't mind it. Anywhere's good for me.
Hey, we'll promote it for you. Just wherever you want to go, we're there.
Locked in promotions.
Yeah, locked in. They'll do it for you. Eh? Pay-per-view, not free.
Okay, talking about super fights, the fan in me has to ask, you fought Stipe before in the Octagon. You've experienced what he's good at, what he's bad at. Another two-part question here for you. One, did anything surprise you that people may not see when they're watching the fight? And two, what advice would you give him for fighting DC? What advice would you give DC for fighting Stipe?
Well, I to be honest, I made a mistake with that fight with Stipe. I had a big weight cut, and I had nothing for the fight. I didn't really come to the table with anything. I just had a bad weight cut and ruined it. I mean, I can't give advice to Stipe or DC because I didn't beat Stipe for one, and DC, he's in a different division, but. Yeah, so there's no advice there because I've lost to Stipe already. So, and my issue with that fight was just, it was a bad weight cut. It was.
So you think with a better weight cut?
Happen, so.
Yeah. So with a better weight cut, you think definitely it'd be a different outcome?
Of course, there's no way that it would happen the same way. I mean,
yeah.
11 kilograms in a couple of days or a day is not good for anyone's health.
Sure, that knockout walk away.
I learned the hard way about and I made a big mistake with Stipe, but never go the same way.
I'm gonna have to put you on the hot seat then. Who do you have winning that fight?
Stipe and DC. I don't know, man. I like both guys. You know, the main thing about both guys is not cheaters. You know, I don't care
World-class
who wins
guys.
out of that fight. I'm just I'll back in both of them because, you know, I don't want no cheaters to succeed. I want both those guys to succeed because they're both great ambassadors for a clean, free sport, a drug-free sport, and that's what we should be empowering and promoting. Not
Hell
fucking little scummy shortcut takers that take steroids that just hang out with us and fight. You know,
Yeah.
any of those guys is great to win on my side. So, you know, I give props to either. They're doing it the hard way and doing it the proper way.
Mm-hmm.
What are you up to these days?
I was just about to have another game, just training and just, you know, spending a bit of time here with the kids. You know, they've forgotten who I was. I've been traveling a lot so much, and I'm going to sit at home and spend some time with the kids.
Awesome. Well, I hope you had a great Father's Day. Real quick, what's your favorite?
It's not Father's Day here in Oz, so just for you guys it was Father's Day.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, just for you guys it was. So happy Father's Day.
Hey,
Happy Father's Day.
Thank you
guys.
very much. Thank you.
You guys
I'm
got
actually,
kids.
I'm bringing the young one to the little Pete White boxing and MMA here in Port Orange, Florida. I'm bringing them in. They're already training, so we got the next middleweight champion in 12 to 14 years.
Nice, sounds good.
Very cool. Hey, Mark, what's your favorite moment in combat sports history? It could be your moment individually or just a moment you saw live. I saw that you were into boxing, you know, going to the big boxing events. What's the best moment you've ever seen?
There's so many with combat. Did you say with combat sports?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I don't know. I just think there's so many of them to even put one in there. So I mean, yeah, there's a lot. I mean, probably the moment that Conor walked into the octagon or to the boxing ring with Floyd Mayweather. That
Good
was
one.
a big moment.
Yeah, that's
For
a good
looking
one.
at that and going, wow, that's evolution right there.
Hell yeah.
That's
Exactly.
something great right there. So yeah, there's a mixed martial artist and he's fighting one of the best fighter in the world, the best boxer, I say, not fighter.
Yeah.
Best boxer in the world.
Yep.
Yeah, and I don't think
they're
we're going to
both,
see that. I don't think we'll see that again on that magnitude as far as how
I think
popular
we
Conor
will.
is. You do.
I think we will. I think we will see something else like that. There'll be
Not in the MMA
there'll
world.
be something else. Well, in boxing, I'd say I don't think it'll go the same way if Floyd walked into or you won't see Floyd go into MMA. That's for sure. His legacy will be broken first round, but it won't be broken. I don't think how much money would be lost or even given to him for that. I don't think he'll put that record up. History.
Yeah.
There's a lot about that.
They say Woodley's training him, or Woodley wanted to train him. But no matter what training you do, you fighters have been training since the day you were born. So nothing's going to prepare you in a short couple of months.
Well, I mean, I think I can't speak for either, but I think if I had that unbeaten record, I wouldn't give it up for anything.
Yeah. No, I'm with you on that.
That's history right there. So I think anyone smart would just say, I've got plenty of money. I don't want to lose that record because that's something you can't buy back.
Yeah, we'll conclude real quick. I got one more fun question for you. We'll get locked in, and then definitely any of your sponsors or anything you want to promote, anything at all, your gym, anything like that. We'll definitely jump into that. Is your next fight going to be in Moscow?
Moscow. I don't know. I'm just talking with the management, seeing what's happening.
Okay.
Like I said, I've been trying to get a top 5 guy for a while.
Yeah.
Because of the lawsuit, I don't think I ever will. But at the end of the day, we'll see what happens. I've got 2 fights left. I'm looking forward to finishing up my career, and then fighting another 3 more times, and then see how I feel. I thought I'll be fighting for a long time, and I'm not young anymore, and I can't recover like the rest of these guys. I still think I'm the best fighter on the planet, even though I've lost a lot. But you take away half of the steroid users, I probably would have the best record, or a good record, or better record.
Yeah, it's hard to argue.
So,
Fighting people with
that's the way I
steroids isn't
look at it.
fair.
Well, hey man, I'm in a lawsuit about steroids. I mean, trying to make it even. So I'm not fucking with you. I'm just putting it straight out there and telling it how it is.
Yeah, well, we appreciate that. Nothing but the truth here at Locked In.
Absolutely.
That's it, locked in, baby.
There we go. Mark, where can people find you? The fans, they listen to this. They like hearing you. Facebook, Instagram. Let them know where they can find Mark Hunt.
I think my social media is Mark Hunt Fighter. I think I don't really look at it. There's a couple of it I put up, but I think my wife's been telling me to get off the fucking thing too much, so I've been on it too long.
Smart girl.
I don't know. I'm on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter and all those things, but yeah, that's basically it. So you probably find me swearing at the kids on the gaming circuit, which isn't very good, but it is what it is. No one knows who you are. You're gaming, so yeah.
Well, like I said, we really truly appreciate you giving us your time. Do you have a locked in for us?
I
know it's tough, but this is your first ever locked in. It's documented.
Okay, so what's the? Can you run me over that again? Locked in. What is that locked in?
Of course. So locked in is a bold prediction anyone could bet their money on. It could be about you, your family, future events in the combat world.
Oh, about me?
Yeah, it could be about you. You could say you're the best fighter in the world. That's locked in. Whatever you want.
Of course, I'm always gonna say. I've said that from day one. Even though I'm
Since day one, I love it.
I'm the best. I'm the best fighter in the world. I'll always feel like that until I retire.
And that's locked in.
Yeah. That's locked. Yeah, baby. Of course. Put it out to the world. I've said it right here.
Thank
Hey
you.
man, I appreciate you guys having me on the show, man.
Us too, Mark.
Cheers.
Thank you
Cheers.
so much.
Have a good night. Have a good
Thanks
day.
so much, guys. Take it easy.
You too.
See you guys.
Bye.
Wow. Dave, one of our best interviews we've ever done.
I don't know what to be scared or to be happy or to be frightened. It's just awesome. I love how amped he was. Like, that's just the word I just keep on saying. He was amped. He was pumped. Dude, he's not holding any jab. He's telling it how it is, and I love that about him.
I know I'm not having any needles in my ass near him. I know that for sure.
I love how passionate he is. Like what you're saying. It's just you have a lot of people that talk about the sport, and no disrespect to anybody, but you could just tell how passionate he is about MMA, how passionate he is about the stance that he holds. It's just bigger than MMA, and what he gave us was honest answers that everybody really wants to know. Not the politically correct answers, not what you're supposed to hear. Honest, truthful answers, what he truly believes, and that's what made this interview so magical.
Yeah, it was great. It was great.
So, guys, hope you guys enjoyed it. Support Mark Hunt. Give him a follow. Facebook, Instagram. Just type in Mark Hunt. He'll pop up. Blue check mark. And
Yeah, check us out on Facebook. Definitely get in, join the community. Guys, get a T-shirt at shop.spreadshirt with a / locked in with 2 N's. There's a big sale coming up. I definitely think we're going to throw that on all of our social media platforms.
June 22nd through 24th, I think it's 20% off.
That's awesome. Go to Wicked Cutz. Mention Locked In. Guys, get $5 off your haircut. Go to David Van Auken's personal address and just drop in $5 Dunkin' Donuts gift cards for me. It's greatly appreciated. Thank you.
all that good stuff. Like all of our social media platforms, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Locked In, Max Van Auken, David Van Auken. Like the page to join the community. We've been debating on there. It gives us actually ideas to do future podcasts. What you guys drive the bus. We like to hear from you guys, and it's a great way to connect with us.
Let's see your LeBron memes, you know?
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
When he announces he's going to LA in a couple weeks, we're maybe the biggest podcast in the history of Locked In. We're going to commit 4 hours of just nothing about LeBron James. Are you with me, Cuzzo?
We do it every time.
I'm calling it sick.
I'm telling you, debates of the day have been the best there, so make sure you like the page, join the group, and like always, guys, stay locked in. Pep-Boys.
Hey, this is Dave here. Guys, one of the most essential parts of having a great life is having safe transportation for you and especially for your family. So definitely go see our man, Richie, at Pep-Boys in Daytona Beach, Florida.
And this is Max. What I hate the most, Dave, is when you start up your car and it goes do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do, and you know it's going to be a long day. Well, if I know Pep-Boys has my back, it's going to be a great day. So no matter what happens, go to Pep-Boys for any issue, give you the best deal, and completely fix all your problems.
And tell them Locked In sent you.
What's up, guys? Max here. Let us introduce you to Wicked Cutz, the best quality haircut around. They have 2 locations, right, Dave?
Yeah, bud. They got one in South Daytona and also the second, the brand new one in Port Orange, Florida.
Now, here's the thing. In order to book an appointment, you can visit wickedcutz.com or download the Booksy app. And every Tuesday and Wednesday, if you mention Locked In, you get $5 off your fresh cut for both locations.
What? $5 off? That's amazing, guys. Check them out, lastly, at Facebook and Instagram at Wicked Cutz Barbershop. Do you want the best meals every day? Then get with Fit Meals. Call them at 844-FIT-4U.
Hey guys, Max here. What I like about Fit Meals is this. It's fit for everybody. If you don't like certain foods, he takes it out. If you like certain foods, he adds that in. It's for everybody. If you're an athlete trying to gain muscle, if you're trying to lose weight, or you're just busy and you don't have the time to cook, Fit Meals is for you. Go to myfitmeals.com and start your plan today.
844-FIT-4-U.
Yeah, you now locked in with the best. We ain't rocking with the rest. And when it's game time, we gon' put you to the test. Come to ball, we hitting it, kicking it, though. We dribbling, passing it, though. We running over. It's the ring that we flip you in. So what's the news? You want the scoop? You gotta keep it locked to David Max podcast through your speaker box. What's poppin', my friend? You know the drop in. The only thing left to do is keep it locked in.